حياكم الله. This week, inshallah ta'ala, we will be covering, like we said, Unit 4. Unit 4. Share the screen. There we go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's called Daily Life. Daily Life. Very nice unit that, generally speaking, talks about daily life. Al-Hayat al-Yawmiyya. So you're going to be learning about a lot of things that are relevant to your day-to-day life. And the themes taken from the book for this particular unit is that you will be talking about your daily activities. Okay, so those things you do on a daily basis, a lot of those things which tend to be verbs as well, you'll be talking about them, inshallah. You'll also learn how to ask about and mention the time, and talking about different modes of transport, because I think all of us go from place to place. Okay, we don't stay home all day. So how do you get to different places? What are different modes of transport? In terms of vocabulary, then the vocabulary for this week is related to daily activities, household objects again. We talked about furniture last week, and this week we'll talk about more household objects. And also we learn about some terminology related to time. Okay. In terms of supplementary vocabulary, I advise you, the supplementary vocabulary, we're going to learn about ordinal numbers. We'll talk about what the differences between ordinal numbers and cardinal numbers. What are they? Okay. To give it to you in as easy way as possible. It's a difference between one and first. Okay. You just think about what the difference is there. And then we have the themed vocabulary, which you'll find in the Quizlet classroom. So I advise you to visit theme 3, theme 6, and theme 13, which are about clothes, houseware, and frequently used items. So these are the words that I find are related to this week's unit, inshallah. Okay. Projected learning outcomes for this week. This week we have 22 core vocabulary. We learn about the interrogative words ماذا and meta. Especially if we're going to talk about time, we have to learn meta, which means when. And we will learn how to change a verb to future tense. Okay, so far we have present tense. How do you turn it into a future tense? We also learn how to negate a statement using la. Negate as in, so far, everything we've been talking, it's all been in the affirmative, okay? I live here, I have this. But what if you want to negate something? What if you want to say something, hey, this is not like that, okay? Or this is not that. How do you do that? In terms of your comprehension, you will develop your ability to comprehend written and spoken Arabic in your day-to-day interactions with speakers of the language when talking about your daily activities and asking others about theirs. In terms of pronunciation, this week it's all about the ta and ta. Ta being a word, a letter that is not to be found in the English language. It's basically a heavier version of ta. Speaking skills, you'll be able to initiate conversations in Arabic with confidence by talking about your daily activities, telling the time, and asking another person about their daily activities. So all this week's workshop that we're going to have, inshallah, that we're going to conduct, it's all going to be about talking about your daily activities, about telling the time, what time is it, and also asking another person about their daily activities. All of you should have already done the pre-unit assignments by practicing your reading fluency. You've done the comprehension assessment, okay, which comes in the pre-dialogue, pre-class work, such as the dialogue worksheets. You should have also practiced your vocabulary, be familiar with it, and maybe had a vocabulary test as well to gauge your level. So here we are, starting live class 7, alhamdulillah. Let's start with the first dialogue. First thing we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to listen to the conversation, and after that, we'll cover the vocabulary, and then we'll explain some grammar concepts, inshallah. Right, let me open the PowerPoint slide. Any questions so far? Oh, please close the door. Okay, so share the screen 1 second. Here we go. الحياة اليومية. طيب.
الدرس 28. الحوار الأول. انظر واستمع. متى تستيقظ؟
أستيقظ عند الفجر.
أين تصلي الفجر؟
أصلي الفجر في المسجد.
هل تنام بعد الصلاة؟
لا، لا أنام بعد الصلاة.
ماذا تفعل بعد الصلاة؟
أقرأ القرآن.
ومتى تذهب إلى المدرسة؟
أذهب الساعة 7.
هل تذهب بالسيارة؟
لا، أذهب بالحافلة.
Okay.
والآن جاء
So that was the conversation, if you like. Now let's go to WooClap. Let me give you the WooClap link so that we can ask about the vocabulary, inshallah. Bismillah. Here's the link. Please join. Okay, please join. Just waiting for you to join. I'll post the first question. Okay, so here we have the first question. Just select any word that you don't understand. Listen to the
الوحدة الرابعة.
الحياة اليومية. الدرس 28. المفردات. العرض. انظر واستمع وأعد. ينام. يستيقظ. يذهب. الساعة 7. سيارة. حافلة. مدرسة.
طيب جيد. Seems like only one word that you don't understand. No problem. يستيقظ is the opposite of ينام. هنا ينام. هنا يستيقظ. To sleep, to wake up. واضح? Seems like all the rest is understood. Please tell me if that's not the case. يذهب to go. ساعة 7. This is pretty straightforward. 7 o'clock. Okay. طيب. All right. Let's explain then the grammar. So in terms of grammar, then we have, this is basically the same as the dialogue that we had. متى تستيقظ. This is obviously a new word here, متى. Okay, which like we said is the interrogative word, basically when. متى, when. You use this word to ask about time. Okay, use this word to ask about time. So the answer is going to have to be related to time. Okay, specific time. Or يعني time is in clock or day or month or year, whatever. Okay. أستيقظ عند الفجر. عند means at, so close proximity. Okay, so عند is used for close proximity. It could be close proximity in terms of time or in terms of location. Here in this, okay, this example is close proximity to its time, which is Fajr time, dawn, or Salat al-Fajr, okay, at Fajr time. أين تصلي الفجر? We've done أين also already many times before, which means where. أصلي الفجر في المسجد. أصلي الفجر في المسجد. Now I want you to pay attention here that متى we said you need to answer with a time عند الفجر. أين you have to answer with a location في المسجد. Okay. هل تنام بعد الصلاة? Do you sleep بعد الصلاة after صلاة? لا. This is now the la of negation we were talking about, which means no. لا أنام بعد الصلاة. I don't sleep after صلاة. طيب. ماذا تفعل بعد الصلاة؟ ماذا. It's a new word. ماذا means what? Now you might ask, what's the difference between ماذا and ما? Okay. The difference that ماذا, we use it for verbs. Whereas ما, we use it for nouns. So ما اسمك, what's your name? Okay. ماذا تفعل? تفعل is a verb. We can't say ما تفعل when we're asking a question. Okay. We can, but we don't use it that often. What's much clearer is ماذا تفعل. All right. طيب. بعد الصلاة أقرأ القرآن. I read Quran. So that's generally speaking the grammar that's related to it. We'll go into more detailed grammar concepts inshallah ta'ala once we've covered all three dialogues. But now you should be able to understand the dialogue properly inshallah. Okay. Yalla, next dialogue.
الوحدة الرابعة. الحياة اليومية.
الدرس 29.
الحوار الثاني. انظر واستمع.
هذا يوم العطلة.
هذا يوم العمل.
ماذا ستفعل يا طارق؟
سأكنس غرفة الجلوس.
وماذا ستفعلين يا فاطمة؟
سأكنس غرفة النوم.
وماذا ستفعل يا أحمد؟
سأغسل الملابس.
وماذا ستفعلين يا لطيفة؟
سأكوي الملابس.
أنا سأغسل الأطباق.
وأنا سأقرأ القرآن.
طيب.
والآن جاء دورك.
Okay.
انظر واستمع وأعد.
هذا.
Let's check the start with the vocabulary. طيب. We'll clap again. Bismillah. There you go. Some will clap. Let's play the audio.
الوحدة الرابعة. الحياة اليومية.
الدرس 29. المفردات. العرض.
No,
انظر واستمع وأعد.
There's a mistake there.
يوم
Meant to have the words, not the dialogue. Allah musta'an. There is 1 second. Little mishap there. Okay, there you go. Now you have the actual words.
الوحدة الرابعة الحياة اليومية.
الدرس 29. المفردات. العرض. انظر واستمع وأعد. يوم العمل. يوم العطلة. أطباق. يكنس. ملابس. يغسل. يكوي.
MashaAllah. Today it seems to be everyone seems to know their vocabulary. MashaAllah. Tabarakallah. Or for the most part, at least. يوم العطلة means holiday. يوم العمل is the opposite, work day. يوم العمل, عمل means work. يوم العمل, work day. يوم العطلة, holiday. So عطلة stands for holiday. Okay? واضح? Okay, let's go to the grammar. That's it. That's the only thing. Everything else understood. ممتاز. In terms of grammar, we have not many things that need to be pointed out. Here we have ماذا ستفعل يا طارق. We already talked about ماذا being what used for verbs. Here we have ستفعل. Okay, now we know what تفعل means. ماذا تفعل يا طارق. But what is this scene for? Why do we say ستفعل? That's really the question. Why did we say ستفعل? The reason for that is because this scene turns a present tense verb into a future tense verb. Okay? So as opposed to what are you doing, O Tariq, the mother is saying what are you going to do, O Tariq, future tense. Okay? سأكنس, I'm going to, I will in the future. غرفة الجلوس, I will vacuum the living room. Okay? Again here غرفة with a fatha. Why? Because it is مفعول به, it's an object. Okay? So he is doing the act of vacuuming. What is he vacuuming? What's the object? What's the مفعول به? What's being vacuumed? غرفة, the living, غرفة الجلوس, the living room. وماذا ستفعلين يا فاطمة? Okay, here we got something new. ستفعلين. ستفعلين. What does that mean? Where does this ina come from? Right? Now, this ina, ستفعلين, it's because it's female. Alright? So, Tariq is ستفعل, whereas Fatima is ستفعلين. Okay? Fatima is ستفعلين. So, when you're addressing a female, you have to add an ina to the end of the verb. This to differentiate between second person male, second person female. So we know that when it comes to pronouns, we have anta and anti. We have ka and ki, such as ismuka, ismuki. This is another manifestation of difference between gender. Okay? ستفعل, ستفعلين. Okay? تكنس, تكنسين. Alright? سأكنس غرفة النوم. Fatima said, I will vacuum the bedroom. As you can see, أكنس and أكنس is the same. First person is always the same. We don't differentiate between genders when it comes to first person. But we do for second and third person. Okay? So أكنس is always I, could be male or female. But when it comes to you, here is different. Okay? Now we know in English, we differentiate between genders when it comes to third person, he and she. But we don't really differentiate between anything when it comes to second person. That's a funny thing about English. English, when it comes to second person, it doesn't differentiate. Not between masculine and feminine. Neither does it differentiate between number, singular, plural, or dual. They never differentiate between dual anyway. But you can say you to anyone in front of you. It could be one man, one woman. It could be two men, two women. It could be a group of men, group of women, or it could be a hall full of men and women. You could be addressing the whole world, you'll still be saying you. Okay? You. English doesn't change. But in Arabic, that's different. So again, another paradigm change, another different way of looking at things, another thing you're not probably used to, which is that when you're addressing someone, you have to actually figure out what gender, and then later on when we get to plurals, you have to figure out the number, if it's singular or plural or dual. Sorry, that's part of the language when it comes to Arabic language. It's not part of English, but it is part of the Arabic language. Which again, sorry, I'm not being biased, but Arabic does make more sense. Why? Because if I'm standing in a room and I'm talking to someone, right? Okay, if there are other people in the room as well, and I say you, then obviously there is a level of ambiguity there. Okay, I might say, hey, you. Okay, or I might say, what did you do? Right? And there's two people in front of me. And then how often does that happen? Are you talking to me? The other person, no, you're talking to me? And a bit of confusion happens, right? Okay? But in Arabic, that wouldn't really be the case. Especially if it's a man and a woman. Or if you're addressing one person as opposed to speaking to the whole room. You'd use different pronouns. Okay? You'd use different pronouns. Again, we'll talk about that in more detail, inshallah, especially when it comes to verb conjugation, inshallah ta'ala, in a moment. Let's go to our third and final dialogue for today, and then we'll explain the new grammar concepts, inshallah ta'ala. Any questions so far? So far, so good? Great. Bismillah.
الوحدة الرابعة الوحدة الرابعة الحياة اليومية.
الدرس 30.
الحوار الثالث. انظر واستمع.
متى تستيقظ يوم العطلة؟
أستيقظ مبكرا. ومتى تستيقظ أنت؟
أستيقظ متأخرا.
ماذا تفعل في الصباح؟
أشاهد التلفاز. وماذا تفعل أنت؟
أقرأ صحيفة أو كتابا.
أين تصلي الجمعة؟
أصلي الجمعة في المسجد الكبير. وأين تصلي أنت؟
أصلي في المسجد الكبير أيضا.
والآن جاء دورك.
Let's go to the vocabulary. On vocab, obviously. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. Okay, so the words up on vocab. The words.
الوحدة الرابعة الحياة اليومية.
الدرس 30. المفردات. العرض. انظر واستمع وأعد. كتاب. صحيفة. تلفاز. يشاهد. الصباح. كبير. مبكرا. متأخرا.
طيب ما شاء الله. Seems like everybody has been revising their vocabulary, mashallah, doing their pre-class work, because nobody is asking about any of these words. I mean, a lot of them obviously are objects, they make pretty sense. Sabah means morning, kabir means big, and early and late. Mubakkiran, early, mutakhiran, late. طيب ممتاز. Okay, what do we have then in terms of grammar? طيب Again, most of the things are nothing new. We've done all of them in terms of grammar. No new grammar concepts apart from this. Faisal said, أصلي الجمعة في المسجد الكبير. I don't think this is brand new. I think we've done something similar. Yes. Which is that Al-Masjid al-Kabir here means what? Huh? It means the big masjid. So this is an adjective. Alright? And the way that Arabic works is that, so that you know which word is an adjective for which, it will resemble it in everything. It's going to resemble it and follow it in everything. So masjidi, because of fi, kabiri as well. So it's gonna follow this. Okay, so masjidi al-kabiri. If this one has alif lam, this one's gonna have alif lam. If this one is singular, this one's gonna be singular. If this one is masculine, this one's gonna be masculine. So there is full agreement between adjective and noun in the Arabic language. Agrees with it on everything. We said a noun has 4 aspects that you need to look at. 4 aspects. Person, sorry, not person is for pronoun, sorry. We have gender, number, definiteness, and i'rab, as in the harakat at the end of the word. As you can see, al-kabir has followed al-masjid in all of these things. So if this was, for example, a feminine word, like let's say maktaba, let's say he's going to pray at the library, fil maktabati, usalli al-jumu'ata. You can't really pray Jumu'ah in the maktaba, just for the sake of argument, right? Or let's say usalli salata, right? Usalli dhuhra, he's going to pray dhuhr where? Fi al-maktabah, the library. Al-kabirati, it would be al-kabirati, not kabiri, because maktabatun is female, so kabiratun would also be female. Fil maktabati al-kabirati. So that's one thing you need to be aware of. It's called agreement, yes, which means that this adjective, and also we talked many times about the purpose of adjectives, which is kind of like the same as mudaf ilayh, which is it's just there to describe and also specify, more importantly. Okay, if he said to him, أصلي الجمعة في المسجد, he asked him, where are you going to pray Jumu'ah? If he said to him, أصلي الجمعة في المسجد, the guy still wouldn't know which masjid he's going to pray at. I'm going to pray Jumu'ah at the masjid. Yeah, obviously, you can only pray Jumu'ah in the masjid, right? But which masjid? Okay, so what he done is he's used an adjective, an attribute, a characteristic of a specific masjid that both of them know, in order to specify which masjid. So I'm going to pray Jumu'ah in the big masjid as opposed to the small masjid. Alright, small masjid that I pray, local masjid I pray my salawat there. When I go Jumu'ah, I go to the big masjid. Okay, and they both know which masjid that is. There's only one big masjid in town, right? That they know of. Alright, so that's the purpose of adjectives. Alright, the purpose of adjectives is to specify, to clarify, to make sure a person knows what you are talking about. Of course, sometimes you use adjectives as well, just for the sake of praising something or the likes. That's true. Okay, but even that as well is a form of specification, right? When I say that anta jamil or anti jamila, for example, then yes, it's a praise, but at the same time, it's also a specification, something that you have that maybe others don't have, right? Type. Mumtaz. Alright, let's go and talk about the new grammar concepts. We have a few interrogative words, new interrogative words, such as last time we've done kam and ayu, yes, and today we have aina. No, that's actually we've done that already. Aina. We have meta and mada. We have meta and mada. Like we asked already, what's the difference between ma and mada? Sorry, I already told you before I actually managed to ask you. Should have asked you first. But yeah, what's the difference between ma and mada? I already mentioned it, but just for the sake of seeing if you were paying attention or not, tell me. What's the difference between mada and ma? Mada and ma. ما الفرق What's the difference? بين ماذا وما. One is for nouns and the other is for verbs. نعم. نعم. ما is for nouns. ما اسمك. ماذا is for verbs. ماذا تفعل. Okay. أحسنتم. ممتاز. Okay. Okay. So that's straightforward. Then we come on to verbs. When we done verbs, we talked about how verbs are three types. فعل ماضي, فعل مضارع, فعل أمر. We talked about how فعل مضارع, generally speaking, is present tense. Not always, but most of the time, it's present tense. Okay? But if we want to take فعل مضارع and turn it into a future tense, then what do? We prefix it with a seen, or we put the word سوف in front of it. So give me any verb with فعل مضارع. يعني محمد يشرب القهوة. Muhammad is drinking coffee. Right? محمد سيشرب القهوة. He will drink coffee in the future. Or محمد سوف يشرب القهوة. He's going to drink in the future. Okay? So, for practical purposes, right? سوف and seen is the same, right? محمد سيشرب القهوة. Okay? He's going to drink قهوة, or he will drink قهوة in the future. Or محمد سوف يشرب القهوة also means he will drink it. Now if it's not, without it, it would be محمد يشرب القهوة. Okay? So this is normally present tense, and these two are future tense. سيشرب القهوة or سوف يشرب القهوة. So the new extra thing that we have here is the seen and the sofa. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, يشرب, سيشرب, سوف يشرب. Okay, and these two, like we said, means kind of like the same thing. Okay, that's it. That's all there's to it, really. Very simple. Type. Then we have what we called numbers, ordinal or cardinal numbers. All right. Type. Now, cardinal numbers, they tell you how many of something. They show quantity. Okay. And let's put this in brackets. Let's write it. Okay, let's keep it like that for now. Okay. All you need to remember is here ordinal as in order. Order. Okay. Okay. In Arabic it's called tertibi. Okay. Ordinal numbers tell the number of how things are set. They show the position or the rank of something. So the difference here really is, this is about how many, quantity. This is about order. Okay, position, rank. واضح? You're comparing it with something else. So let me give you some sample sentences. Inshallah, that will make it clear. Okay. So I'm going to give you a sentence. You need to tell me ordinal or cardinal. Okay. Let's go back to WooClap. طيب. So here we have a sentence. Okay. And I'm not going to share the screen so you don't know the answer. الساعة الآن 5:30. So you can either say it's cardinal, I think we talk about quantity, or ordinal. And after we're done with these examples, you will understand the importance of it. Okay, so don't worry. You might think that this is just semantics. No, it's not. This is actually really, really important. Okay. So here we have الساعة الآن 5:30. Is this an ordinal number or a cardinal number? Cardinal, quantity. Ordinal, order or rank. Okay, الساعة الآن الخامسة النصف. Right now, the time is 5:30. Okay, that was how it translates in English. Obviously, in Arabic, it's slightly different. Okay, الساعة الآن الخامسة والنصف. Is it quantity or order? Think carefully, huh? Because believe me, people get it so wrong when they're speaking the language, right? When it comes to ordinal cardinal, right? And it makes a major difference. Okay, now, as you can see, the vast majority of you said it's a cardinal number. But the reality is that it's an ordinal number. Let me explain. Saying that now it's 5:30, صح? Now in Arabic, if you look at this, if we ignore الآن, which is now, or let's say الآن, الساعة الخامسة والنصف. الخامسة here, it is what? It's an adjective. It's an adjective. The 5th hour. The 5th and half hour. So look, when we talk about hours, my dear brothers and sisters, we're talking about order. There are 24 hours in a day, or let's say there are 12 hours in a day, AM and PM. Yes? These hours, they denote an order. The 1st hour, the 2nd hour, the 3rd hour, the 4th hour, the 5th hour. Okay? It's not that clear in English because we say things like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It doesn't make sense. Right? But in Arabic, it actually preserves the actual meaning of when we're talking about hours. We're not talking about quantity. And when you say it's 5 o'clock, does that mean you have 5 hours? Yani, is it talking about the duration of something taking 5 hours? No, it's not quantity. I'm talking about the 5th hour of the day. That's what we're going to meet. Now it's 5:30. There's no quantity involved. I'm telling you that now, the 5th hour and a half, that's the time right now. Okay? Well, there. So this is actually an order number. It shows you order of hours. And because of this, we know that the 5th hour comes after the 4th hour and the likes. Which obviously 4 and 5 is the same thing as well. But nevertheless, it's not about the quantity. It's about the order. About the order. Okay? It's not like that you have 5 hours in your hands. Yes, it's not quantity. Okay, no problem. This maybe wasn't clear, but believe me, as we do more examples, it'll become clearer and clearer. The next question would be عندي 5 كتب. Okay, is that ordinal or cardinal? I'm gonna stop. Oh no. Okay, we'll do this one for now. أسكن في الدور الثالث. Let me just quickly save the answers. Just give me a moment. Okay, next question. عندي 5 كتب. Are we talking about order? We're talking about quantity. عندي 5 كتب. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you why it's so important to know the difference between ordinal numbers and cardinal numbers. The reason it's so important in the Arabic language is because the actual word structure is going to be different. Okay? The word structure and the i'rab and everything that follows it is going to be different. Okay? So here we have عندي 5 كتب. Okay. The correct answer here is that we have what? So there's still a lot of you that haven't answered. Yalla. Don't be on the fence. Anonymous. Your answer anonymous. Yalla, answer. Barakallah feek. Okay, just give it a go. Okay, now the answer here, yalla, go ahead. Yalla, there's about 18 of you. Yalla, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the correct answer is this is a cardinal number. This is a quantity. Okay, and the way you know it's quantity in the Arabic language is that it will be the mudaf and mudaf ilayh structure. That's the most important thing. Okay, especially when we're dealing with smaller numbers. When you deal with bigger numbers, it might be slightly more complicated, but for now, dealing with the smaller numbers, ثلاثة, أربعة, and the likes, it's mudaf mudaf ilayh. Mudaf mudaf ilayh. خمسة كتب. Five what? Books. خمسة كتب. Okay, so again, the same thing kind of applies when it comes to mudaf mudaf ilayh. I did tell you many times, mudaf mudaf ilayh doesn't mean possession. So now you have خمسة كتب. It doesn't mean that kutub belongs to خمسة, right? It's just showing you 5 of what. When I say عندي خمسة, that is very ambiguous. It's very general. خمسة what? كتب specifies what 5 things you have. 5 books. Very different from خمسة سيارات or خمسة بيوت. Okay? عندي خمسة كتب. This is quantity now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 books you have. We're not talking about order. Talking about quantity. You actually have 5 books. Okay? Now, if you want to say, you know, العربية بين يديك is 8 books in total. Right? And you want to say that you have the 5th book. You would say عندي الكتاب الخامس. So look at the difference. Subhanallah. That's why I'm telling you it's important that you know the difference. Because here, let's go for this one. عندي خمسة كتب. How would it be if it was cardinal? It would be عندي الكتاب الخامس. Major difference between these two. Where is the difference? The difference is in multiple ways. Number one. Kutub here is plural. This one is singular. Yes, because you have 5 books. That's quantity now. Whereas عندي الكتاب الخامس, I have the 5th book. How many books do you have? 1 book. The 5th book. عربية بين يديك is an 8 series book. It's a series of 8 books. Maybe you only have the 5th book. Okay, so you say عندي الكتاب الخامس, I have the 5th book. If I were to ask you how many books you have, you only have 1 book. That's why الكتاب here is singular. But here we have خمسة كتب. لا, this is plural now. We're talking about quantity of 5 books. Now these 5 books that you have, it could be the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th book. But it could also be maybe you have the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th book. Right? I don't know the order. I don't know which order that you have, the first or the last. I don't know that. But I do know that you have 5 books. واضح? Whereas this guy, I know which book he has, the 5th book. And I know he only has 1 book. Yes? And it's not 5 books. That's one thing. Another thing obviously is this is mudaf mudaf ilayh, like we said. And this one, it is actually the order of noun and adjective. Okay? That's why I told you al-kitab, you have 1 book. But that 1 book, which book is it? Which book is it that you have? Okay? The book that you have is the 5th one, as opposed to the 1st, the 2nd, or the 3rd. You have the 5th book. So here you find that the adjective is specifying what the kitab is. And I told you many times, and I'll keep on telling you, mudaf mudaf ilayh, or adjectives are there to specify, to clarify, to give an attribute so that you know what I'm talking about. If I were to say just عند الكتاب, just like we said about the masjid, أصلي في المسجد. Which masjid? Al-Kabir. عند الكتاب, I have the book. Which book? The 5th one. Okay. عند الكتاب الأبيض, I have the white book. عندي الكتاب الجديد, I have the new book. Okay. So he has the 5th book. So this is an adjective of al-kitab. But nevertheless, it's only 1 book. Whereas here we have what? 5 books. He has 5 books, quantity of 5 books. واضح? So here we mentioned the number first because it's about quantity. Whereas here we mentioned the object first because it's about the object. So here's an adjective of the thing that you have. It's all about the book, the fact that you have a book, and it happens to be the 5th book. But here is about the fact that you have 5 books. It's about the quantity. Okay, so everything in every single way in which the Arabic language, subhanAllah, is structured, it just makes sense. Wallah, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Needs some getting used to, maybe new ways of thinking at stuff, looking at stuff, but it makes sense. When I say عندي 5 كتب, it's about the number, it's about the quantity. When I say عندي الكتاب الخامس, it's about the book. Okay? عندي 5 كتب. And again, this is plural and this is singular. Okay? So in English this would be I have 5 books. I have the 5th book. Again, why in English the 5th book? Because in English, like we said, the adjective always comes before the noun. 5th book. واضح? Yalla, let's give it another try. Let's give it another try. Inshallah, by the time we get to the last question, nobody makes a mistake. If number comes first, then it's ordinal number. If it comes last, then it's cardinal. Is that a correct understanding? Yes. 1 minute. Let me think that through. If number comes first, then it's ordinal. I.e. لا. Ordinal, as in order. الكتاب الخامس. لا, here the object is first. If it comes last, then it's cardinal. I think you mean the other way around. What you mean is if the number comes last, it's ordinal. And if the number comes first, then it's cardinal. So let's go back to the... Okay, here we have this, the number, right? Let's make the number... Let's make the number green. Alright? So this is cardinal. Cardinal might not make sense, but just ordinal, think of order. Order. Okay? Order. This is ordinal. عندي الكتاب الخامس. الخامس. It came last. Okay? So when it comes to cardinal ordinal numbers, the number comes last. But then when we say number comes last, it depends on you actually recognizing the noun. You have to know what noun we're talking about. So when we say, for example, الساعة الآن الخامسة, then you'd have to know that we're actually talking about الساعة. Okay? The 5th hour. But nevertheless, provided that you understand the noun and the ordinal number being an adjective for the noun, then yes, the adjective will come after the noun. Whereas here we have عندي 5 كتب. Now this holds true for certain numbers, but not all numbers. That's why the subject of Arabic numbers, it is one of the most confusing subjects. I'm telling you right now. But inshallah, when I say the most confusing of subjects, it doesn't mean it's confusing beyond a level that you can't grasp it. Like, you can understand it, yes, but it just has a level of difficulty to it because there are many different exceptions and many different rules. Okay? But nevertheless, let's take things step by step. Okay? But that rule of yours, which is the ordinal number always coming last, the cardinal number always coming first, unfortunately that rule does not stand. That rule does not stand because the ordinal number, the cardinal number could also come after the noun. Okay? Right. But again, like I said, if anything, just the meaning of the sentence, yes, will show you how to structure the sentence. طيب, let's go to this one. أسكن في الدور الثالث. Cardinal or ordinal? Again, like I said, ordinal, order. Cardinal, quantity. أسكن في الدور الثالث. Okay. Cardinal, quantity. Ordinal, order. I live أسكن. I live في الدور الثالث. I live in the دور الثالث. في الدور الثالث. We're talking about quantity, we're talking about order. When I say order, think of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. That's order. Okay? When we say quantity, just think about the normal number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the likes. They will give 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Go. The correct answer is ordinal. Barakallahu feekum. The correct answer is ordinal. Why? The 3rd floor. He lives on the 3rd floor. He doesn't live in 3 floors. Barakallahu feek. It's not quantity. He doesn't live in all 3 floors. Okay? He could if he was rich enough, but not in this example. He's telling you that he lives on the 3rd floor. 1, 2, 3. 3rd floor. He only lives on 1 floor. But it happens to be the 3rd one. Okay, another one. Umri sab'ah. My age is 7. Or I'm 7, if you like. Umri sab'atun. Okay. Cardinal, ordinal. Still seems to be a... Don't worry though, if you didn't get it, you will get it. Don't worry. You will get it. Okay, so here he's saying my age is 7. 7 years. 7 whole years. That's quantity. Okay. Now, this one is one of the most difficult ones here. Because you can look at it from two ways. As in, he has 7 years. He's lived 7 years quantity-wise. But you can also be like, oh no, it's the 7th year of his life. But that's where we look at the actual structure. So this is actually عمري 7 سنوات. But they normally omit the sanawat. Okay. So 7 سنوات will be مضاف مضاف إليه. Alright? Type. Just ignore that one. That was probably too difficult. But I normally like to make the last question really difficult to challenge those that got the hang of it. But it still seems to be a little bit confusing. But no problem. You'll get it. You'll get it, inshallah. Don't worry. You'll get it. And I'll make sure I give you enough exercises to help it sink in. طيب. Let's do a quick Quizlet competition. Or shall we do that on Monday? Do you think you need more time to practice? Yeah, I mean the hour's up. Let's just finish it there. We'll take 5 minutes inshallah and go to the workshop, and we'll do Quizlet on Monday inshallah. Gives you more time to practice your vocabulary inshallah. Are there any questions? Are there any questions before we break up for the workshop? طيب, I suppose there are no questions. To be honest, today, you guys are a bit timid today. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong today, but the participation today seems to be very timid. WooClap, I think at most 9 people participated. We got 19 in here, or 18 people. طيب لا بأس inshallah. I'll get you to wake up in the workshop. Same thing goes for the sisters inshallah. Ustad Sarah will take care of you inshallah. Barakallah feekum. طيب. Alright, inshallah, see you in the workshop. هذا والله أعلم. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.